To say the Garfield movie is a war crime. There is no other movie that has ever existed that is even somewhat better than Garfield. You can forget about your favorite movies or any movies you loved or cared about because Garfield is just too good. You could play the Garfield next to the 16th Chapel and it would look minuscule compared to the cinematographic greatness of Garfield. Everything from the visual effects to acting is on par, and everything in this movie comes together seamlessly to create a perfect movie. Back where it was. To define this movie as perfect, you need to understand what makes a perfect movie. Written, shot, directed, and produced with the intent to tell one cohesive, entertaining story that fulfills its purpose. Every movie was made for a different reason. Some movies were meant to make people laugh or cry, but every movie will teach something. For example, in every Spider-Man movie, its purpose is to entertain you and teach you things like responsibility and determination. What makes one better than the other is how well it pursues the purpose, or how well it can tell the story of Spider-Man. Characters should serve and add to the story with its writing and the rest of the production to tell the story they wanted to tell. To know why the Garfield movie is a perfect movie, you obviously would have to watch the movie to understand that. Although because there are some betas watching this video right now who haven't seen it, I'll do a quick run through, so spoilers ahead. The story of Garfield is one about family and the struggles of finding one. In this case, the family is John and Garfield. Although their bond is strong, they are both missing something in their lives. Garfield is a selfish and lazy cat who takes advantage of other people and doesn't care about the consequences of his actions. John is an absolute lower life form who does nothing in his entire life except work and care for Garfield. Garfield's unstoppable obsession for lasagna caused him to eat a lot and end up in the vet. Meanwhile, while they were there, John was going to ask out the veterinarian, but because of how much of a beta he is, he instead adopted a dog named Odie. When Odie entered their lives, it changed Garfield's character because everything valuable he ever had was now gone. All the attention from love from John was now for Odie. Whenever Garfield wanted to do something lazy or steal the neighbor's food, Odie was there to make Garfield a better person. But he didn't realize that. All he saw was a dog who was ruining his life, so he kicked him out of the house and locked the door. Odie, being a dumb dog, ran away somewhere and got lost. After this, Garfield was completely alone. All the other cats and dogs on the street looked at him in disgust and disappointment for what he had done. Everything that was ever important to him was now gone. Garfield kicking Odie out led to Odie being kidnapped and tortured by some evil TV commercial guy. It's the guy that does commercials. As Garfield watched TV, he sees Odie in one of his commercials and sees the electrocution collar that he has on. At this point, he has a choice that he could live the rest of his life with everyone hating him, or he could bring back the missing piece of his family. Garfield had to put everything on the line when he set out to save Odie. He left the cul-de-sac without John, which is something he would never have done before. He became a changed cat ever since. After he found the evil commercial man's tower, where he was holding Odie hostage, Garfield could have easily taken... What? Oh, dippyboy. Garfield could have easily taken the elevator or walked up to the top, but no. He climbs the entire skyscraper through a vent like a stigma. Once at the top, the evil man takes Odie back downstairs to make it inconvenient for Garfield because they're leaving to New York by train. Garfield chases him down to the street by grinding the stair railing and siding the walls with a food tray down the building and lands in a lasagna truck outside. This sequence of events is undoubtedly creates one of the greatest scenes in history. But just as things get good, it all goes downhill. Garfield gets caught by the one person who can stop him. The Pound, a place where strays and lost animals end up. He was so close to saving Odie, but couldn't anymore. Back to square one, Odie was gone forever. The other cats wanted to know his backstory for why he was there, so Garfield told it. The idea of a cat sacrificing everything just to be with a dog inspired them. The idea had been forbidden and never heard of before. Garfield's connection with Odie motivated everyone to help him escape, and that's exactly what they did. Garfield traveled to the train station where the evil man had Odie captured. Once he got there, the train left. All hope was lost. It would be a miracle for him to stop that train, although Garfield was a pro with trains, you see. See, John had a miniature railroad set up in the house that Garfield practically owned. He found the command center of the railway and hopped on in. With such incredible genius, he had hijacked the train and brought it back to the station. Once there, he got on and took Odie back with him. As he was running away, the evil man saw them running on the platform. With the evil man chasing them down, they ran into some storage room and hid, but the evil man found them. But then, out of nowhere, the dogs and the cats from the pound, who Garfield inspired, came back for them. Garfield was able to reunite all the animals to save Odie. It was now one man versus a few dozen angry dogs and cats. After they gangbang the evil man, John brings them back home and they live happily ever after. A perfect movie is completely different from your favorite movie. Your favorite movie is a movie that you feel is the best that you have watched on a personal, and you prefer it over other movies. A perfect movie, or just a good movie, is based off certain elements that all add up to make one story that tells what the directors wanted to tell and fulfills its purpose. Here's an example of perfect versus favorite. We have 3 movies here. We have Endgame, The Godfather, Kung Fu Panda, and the Emoji Movie. As you can see from this graph, they are all on very different sides of the spectrum. We got some at the top, some mid, some way down here. To sort of find a perfect movie or a good movie, you can't just say that it has a really good, like it's just overall really good. You have to put it in more specific terms. So maybe Endgame has really good production, but has lower cinematography, so it just looks bad. Kung Fu Panda might look great, but might lack production. Or The Godfather might be really good at everything, but just slightly less cinematography. Or you could be the Emoji Movie, all the way down here, and just suck. And even be in the negatives, because it's just that bad. But here is where things get good. You see, the Garfield movie, it exceeds all other movies. Endgame, pathetic. Godfather, pathetic. The greatest movies of all time, pathetic. Especially the Emoji Movie. No one likes the Emoji Movie. It is 10 everything. Wanna know why? Because it's perfect. Get it? Perfect. Cat. Ogre. And let me explain why. For the first element, writing. Everything in Garfield is written perfectly. The symbols, themes, dialogue, and sound all feel so rich and raw, natural to the movie. The movie tells you how Garfield feels without explicitly telling you, so you can almost understand it on a personal level. And it's able to do all this while keeping it entertaining. Also very well structured and makes you feel satisfying at the end. And you don't feel underwhelmed. But it doesn't just follow the 3-act story. It feels new and original, but not too much so you're not confused. Is the acting and characters. The film feels very human. You can empathize and maybe relate to Garfield and feel his struggles as he goes through the story. When he loses, you feel that you lose. And Bill Murray, played as Garfield, is a match made in heaven. It is the equivalent of Garfield's wet dreams for lasagna. Cinematography, which is pretty much just how good the whole movie looks. The color grading is pretty simple, but it's beautiful. Every frame of Garfield is a piece of art. As said earlier, you could play any scene from Garfield next to the 16th chapel, and the 16th chapel would look pathetic compared to Garfield. I didn't research any of the behind the scenes directing and all that kind of stuff, so I have nothing to comment on that. But other than that, that is all I have for today. So like and subscribe.